I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and today on Homebrew Review, we are looking at Elevators Amiss for Atari 2600. Clearly, this was a family effort because Bob Montgomery programmed it and Tommy Montgomery did the music, so my hat's off to both of them on combining forces to make this game a reality. And the concept behind it is solid enough. You are in a hotel whose elevators have gone absolutely haywire. If you get anywhere near them, you're going to get crushed. So, your only means of escape is to climb the staircase on either side of the floor and avoid the elevators as you traverse from one side to the other. Once you get to the top floor, you have to make your way over to the next hotel and avoid the exact same problem. You have to deal with crazy elevators everywhere you go. You're cursed, I guess. They're just following you around going haywire. No matter where you try to escape to, there's always going to be an elevator amiss. Okay, I can dig the premise. It's sort of like a twist on elevator action, without, of course, the rogue agents shooting at you, nor the briefcase that you need to find behind a secret door and then escape to the garage with to flee and then end up in another building where you have to repeat all the same steps as before. That's a premise that's worthy of any arcade game, let alone any Atari 2600 game, but this one does some things that I just can't abide. Problem number one would be that this maid is clearly on roller skates because once she starts moving, she can't stop until she reaches the other side. You can try to reverse direction, but then she just keeps moving endlessly. She can't stand still. If you could stop your momentum and wait between elevators, you might have a chance, but when you have to jiggle the joystick back and forth to try to run around in circles, waiting for one elevator and trying to avoid another, inevitably you're going to hit one of them. If you could stop on a dime between the elevators and just wait it out, then you could clear these floors. But clearly that's not what the Montgomerys had in mind. This is purposeful design that once you're in motion, you stay in motion. You either reach the other side or you don't. You either time it right or you don't. You either jiggle the joystick long enough to dance around in circles long enough to avoid one elevator and the other and try to get by them for the next wave, or you don't. In theory, that's fine. I could get used to that over time, but there's another problem that's distinct and unrelated to that one, and it's the hitbox. Your maid has an incredibly large hitbox, yet it only seems to work at the programmer's discretion. See that elevator going by me? It clearly clips me, but it didn't kill me. This one that just barely touches me as I'm going by, though, I'm dead. This one scraping against me, not dead. This one that I just barely walked on top of, dead. There's no consistency here. Why does the elevator get to scrape by my entire hitbox and not kill me, and yet when I just barely graze it, I get killed? If you're gonna make a hitbox that large, at least be consistent in the application of it. There's no excuse for that. Not even on Atari 2600. Not even with the limited amount of time you have to race the beam to get sprites on the screen and control all your gameplay variables. I will not accept that there wasn't a better way to do this. Now, if the fire button would just let you stop, that's all you had to do. If you're not going to let somebody stop of their own accord when they stop pushing left or right, then just let us hit the fire button to put on the brakes. That would solve so many of the problems here. I would stop complaining about the momentum. I would stop complaining about the hitbox. I would just be able to pause as one elevator goes up and another elevator goes down, and then release the fire button and the momentum could resume. That would be so simple to program, or at least in my view it would be. I haven't coded anything since the 1990s, but I can't imagine that was a gameplay feature that would take that many cycles of code to execute. It's called stop motion until the fire button is released, then resume motion. Just a subroutine that checks to see if the fire button is pressed or not. How freaking hard would that be? I don't think it would be. Finally, while it's commendable that an Atari 2600 game has background music considering all the limitations, including the limitations of the sound chip itself and the limitations of controlling multiple things at one time, it's not pleasant after a while. Tommy, you gave it your best, but this is monotonous and irritating after a while, to the point that I have to turn it all the way down or off completely. And in fact, for doing this voiceover, I turned it way the heck down just so it wouldn't bother you as much as it bothered me while I was playing this game. So, Elevators Amiss? Yeah, that's a pretty accurate title. There's quite a lot amiss in this homebrew game, and honestly, I can't recommend it. You could try it for fun, download a ROM, put it in an emulator, put it on your Stella, whatever you want to do. You just don't want to buy this game physically. And if you don't believe me, if you don't take my word for it, when you try it for yourself, you'll get as frustrated as I did, you'll find the music as tedious as I did, and you'll give up too.